Drake's face.
Good to go? All right, welcome to Sonoma Fire District 4 regular board meeting. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. All right, first thing, adopt and adjust agenda. Do you have anything to add to the agenda, Flav? Look good to you? All right, we'll go ahead and adopt the agenda as presented.
Okay.
All right. Second thing, approved meeting from previous minutes from the previous meeting.
I would move that we approve those as they are.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, open public comment. We do have people in the public. Any comments?
No. Came all the way here with no comments?
Yep, no comments at all. All right, all right. All right, informational items, accounts payable, payroll, and financial. Do you have any comments, concerns?
Well, I
anything
had,
you'd like to-
one of the items in here was paid by petty cash. And the chief explained that to me. Are you comfortable, maybe I should ask, is he comfortable with how much petty cash we have or how that works, or?
Yeah, we just increased that amount.
Oh, you increased it, okay.
Well, so there's 3,000 petty cash and 3,500 in the advanced travel.
Okay. Just so it flows easier, right?
And that was done by resolution,
Yeah, I don't remember
Sometime.
exactly.
a few meetings ago,
Right, okay.
sometime this year.
We've been having some billing issues where bills don't come in time to make the AP cutoff. And so we've had to pay those by credit card or by petty cash. And so that kind of helps save us sometimes and we're working on fixing that. But in the meantime, that's a safety net for us.
Well, it's good to have a safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't get late fees or penalties from our
That's
bills.
right.
Yes.
Are we still being charged tolls? I mean, it's not on here, but are we still being
I'm
charged?
working on that too. I've reached out to the state. I haven't gotten an answer back yet, but
Okay,
yeah. As for now, yes.
okay.
Perfect. And we don't need a motion on that. All right, new business, policy 610 PPE.
So I noticed that this supersedes a number of different policies.
Yeah, we had,
So those policies just go away, is that the idea?
yep, there was a policy for gloves and one for boots and one for helmets and one, Greg could probably
Everything.
remember them all, but we just combined them all into one instead of having one for each different part of the Walker gear.
Yeah. I'll move that we approve policy 610.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, changing regular meeting dates for August and October.
And it sounded like,
Looks like, oh, go ahead.
go ahead, you, go ahead.
All right, looks like we just had moved some dates around because they both didn't fit inside of our either of our schedules. So we are moving the August date from the 8th to July 27th, and the October from the 10th to the 5th.
I'll move we adopt that change.
All right, all in favor? Special meeting also for July 13th at 1300 for interviewing the last candidate for the open board position with a possible executive session to follow. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Resolution for staff vehicle purchase.
So we had vehicles ordered the wrong color. They basically, the supply chain is so short, they could not get any dealer to swap with them. So the last 2 weeks I've been calling all over the state and have found 3 Colorados that are close enough to our specs and the right color. Well, not the color we wanted because they are unfindable, but a color that will work with our new scheme. Total, it'll be about the vehicles will be about $5,000 more. We don't know if we'll be over the allotted amount until, we're gonna wait until we do all the lights and decals and taxes, and if we need more, we'll come to you then when we have an exact amount, so we only have to do it once. It is more, but we're also, the vehicles we're getting have more options. So we are paying a little bit more, but we're also getting more things with those vehicles. So one is less, one of the vehicles we found is actually less than the state bid, and two are more.
And then both brand new vehicles?
All three are brand new. All three are 2022 Colorados with the same basic package with different features. So they're all still the same make, same model, same everything. So we found a GMC Canyon that was $1,000 cheaper, but it had less features than the 1,000 is worth, and then we would have one that was slightly different. So I thought it was worth keeping all three the same.
All right. Any discussion on this resolution?
Well, I've already had my discussion.
Perfect, me too. All right, so I'll make the motion to approve resolution 545 regarding the purchase of staff vehicles through sole source due to special market conditions as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, line item changes and transfers.
And most of this is just to simplify for the budget process and for the line item custodians. Most of it is for most things, we have a joint one, which is fire/EMS. We have a fire and we have an EMS. And so we're basically combining the joint and the fire. We're keeping the EMS separate now because it may help us with GMT reporting. So until we're 100% sure that we should or can put the EMS in, we're going to keep those separate. But we're basically combining all joint and fire into one, and then we're putting hazmat into fire because most years we don't spend most of the hazmat, and so really we don't have a hazmat team, so most of our hazmat stuff is just fire stuff like gas detectors and stuff like that. And then like the magazine subscriptions, I mean their line item budgets of $200, but we had a line item for admin subscriptions and EMS subscriptions and fire subscriptions for magazines. We're just making magazine subscriptions. And so it's really just kind of simplifying a few less. We still have quite a few line items. The county wanted to get us to 7 line items. So all the line items really do is help us for tracking for future casting and stuff like that. And we don't think any of these will really help us budget or future cast by having them broke out that detailed. And so like one of the questions, you saw one of our parts line item was over a lot, so it was 70%. That's just because all the things get stuffed in that one. I don't remember which one it is, but then let's say it's the fire one. Well, then if you look, joint and EMS hardly have anything taken out. So the parts were fine. It's just they all get stuck in one because, as you know, it's hard to define what part is fire, what part goes to EMS, and what part, we're talking vehicle parts, and what part is joint. And so just eliminating that will help everybody.
Will that make it harder to budget for or not?
Not at all.
Okay. Just want to make sure. We want to make your job as easy as possible.
And
We appreciate
historically,
that, yeah.
Commissioner, I think that's a valid question. I think the opposite. I think it's actually going to clear a lot of things up. We've had budget worksheets in the past where we've actually got to say what goes under this line and what goes under this line and what goes under this line item. And having those line items combined and still having those things to look at, I think it's going to be very helpful, and I think it's going to make things better.
And we're just moving the money in, so there will be no change. So if it was
Yeah.
500 and 500, it'll just be one line item with 1,000. Like I said, we'll just combine the worksheets, combine the things, and so hopefully it's just less worrying about where the money comes out of into the detail.
Well, I'll move we combine the line items as listed here in our packet.
And we also need to add to that transfer the fund balances.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we should transfer the fund balances into the right place.
Without that, yes, it might make budgeting
That
a
might be
little more
helpful.
difficult. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All righty, made a motion. All right, all in favor?
All right.
All right, comments, district staff and work groups.
Do either of you have anything?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
So Commissioners, I talked a lot about the Fire Explorers. Just want to pass on, recently we had the state competition for junior firefighter competition. Your Snohomish Fire Explorers against 9 other teams and basically 60 other kids. Took first place in all 7 events, won the overall event. And it wasn't where we stacked one and said, all right, go win everything. The 2 teams that we entered were almost equal in skill levels, and it showed with all the events. So it was a really fun day up at State Fire Academy at North Bend. We were up there all day. Had great participation from some of our firefighters here. Prior to the event happening, as well as the event happening that day, they took their time and their day, all day Saturday, to come to North Bend and work with these kids. So it was really neat. We had Seattle, we had Bellevue, Bald Hills, Shoreline. I can't even remember all the teams that were there, but just a fun day, and the kids had a good time, and that's kind of makes it worthwhile for me watching them when it's their day, and that's why I continue to volunteer to do that. I'm happy to report Brush 42 is decal. It looks really sharp. You guys want to see it, go downstairs and look at it. We'll pull it out the next meeting. It looks really good, finally, and that apparatus is coming together. Staying on wildland, almost all of our wildland people have completed all their training and received their wildland red cards for the year, finally. So we're starting to get that dialed in. We've got a busy week this week, and hopefully a busy summer when it comes to public events. But some of us are starting tomorrow night with some Klahia Days things, working behind the scenes, getting road closed signs and that stuff out. This Friday is the kids' fair. We're going to have fire apparatus there like we have in the past, and people there just interacting with the kids and having some fun for Klahia Days. Saturday morning, not necessarily a district event, but Silver Dollar Club and local members of our organization are working in conjunction with Snohomish Senior Center for the breakfast that they have on Klahia Days every year. And then from there, it's the Klahia Days Parade. So we're registered for that. We're going to have 3 apparatus in there. We've already got a bunch of people from the agency that said they want to come down, drive a rig or ride on a rig and be a part of Klahia Days for us, Fire District 4. In addition to that, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff coming out. The next event is National Night Out. We've always had a presence in some way, National Night Out, either with the city, with law enforcement, out in communities. We're going to do that again on August 2nd. August 10th is an event called Touch a Truck, where we're going to have a fire engine down there, and people bring their kids, and they see, school buses, dump trucks, garbage trucks, and then the best trucks, which are fire engines, and crawl on them, touch them, interact with our firefighters. Lastly, previously you approved budget and a plaque to name the classroom at the training site, the Robert A. Merritt Training Classroom. I'm happy to report that I am in possession of the plaque that's going to hang outside. Chief Merritt's name's also going to go on the door of the classroom. And so we're in possession of that. We're still working on an event and maybe the possibility of an open house community event to combine with this. Don't know where that's going to go yet. But we have the stuff, and we came in so far at $150 below our expected budget. Just for that piece of it. That's my report.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, got a few things. We'll be going to the city leadership team invited us to a barbecue to get to know each other Wednesday, so we'll be going to that. We've been doing really well working with the city. Had a water rescue team deployment a couple weeks ago to Lake Stevens. One of our swimmers actually deployed and helped the rescue out. That was one of our first deployment. We'd only been operational for I think a month or 2. We've been doing the debriefing on that for the AAR and for the CSID. So that is all the money that you put in for training and equipment has already been used well. Obviously, we had a retirement for the Gattermans a couple weeks ago. It was great and well attended and very fun event. Everybody in the office has been getting used to the new configuration and the new duties and the less people in the office, and so that's been going good so far. We did probationary testing for our recruit class last week. Everybody passed the practical, and most people passed the oral. We have one retake for the oral test that will be coming up at the end of the month. I do want to give a shout out to the BCs especially, but all the officers. The amount of training that our crews have been doing the last couple of months, I would say, has been exceptional, outstanding, amazing. I don't know what the word you want to use, but they've been putting a lot of time in, day and night, weekends, all the time at the RLB and other places. They've been focusing on getting people up to acting capabilities, whether that's officer, driver, and it's showing, I feel, within our capabilities on the department. And lastly, Greg forgot to mention, he's been working on the fuel tank. We're moving ahead really well on that. We think we have, we're ready to apply for the permit so that we can get that going. That's all I have.
Alrighty, thank you. Commissioner comments.
I was wondering, we must have not got many responses back this go around. We got just 2 kind of postcards in here.
I'd have to ask Chris why she did that.
I was hoping that was going to continue on,
Yes,
you know,
I
be
will.
real positive like that, you know.
So we don't get a lot of written ones now because we're doing kind of more numerical, but I forgot to remind her to get the monthly data in for the month. We'll get that.
Okay.
She was extremely busy with the retirement, the transition from Sherry to her, so my guess is it would just fell a little bit lower on the priority list. It's been a pretty busy 2 weeks 3 weeks for the office, extremely busy.
And then I would notice in the newspaper that one of the fire chiefs in the area has retired. Have we ever done anything like sent him a letter or something like that when one of these folks have retired? Because I don't know anybody else who's retired, you know, a fire chief that at least I'm aware of anyway, so.
If they have an event, we usually go to it. I know, like when Chief Meeks retired and others we did. To my knowledge, there hasn't been anything set up for Chief McFalls, but I've had lunch with him myself a couple times since then and just been kept in contact with him. So if there's any organized event, we will make a presence at it.
Okay, well, that's good. I think, you know, when people put in that much time and so forth, and I think that's important that, you know, even some other district would recognize that as well for the whole good of the whole area, you know, something like that, so.
All right.
So that's.
Any other comments?
No.
All right, and I don't have any comments. So we will move on to executive session. Pursuant to RCW 4230.11, to consider the selection of a site or acquisition of real estate. And then another one, that would be a total of 20 minutes, and then also RCW 4230-110 to evaluate the performance of a public employee, 10 minutes. We'll just do a total of 20 minutes.
One total of 20
Yeah,
minutes?
total of
Okay.
20 minutes.
And no action expected for either?
Yeah, and no action expected for either of those.
So we are 39, okay.